For You Chat.
So today on the program, once again, we've been learning about the famous sideline reporter, Sager, who was struggling with cancer, a very serious disease, and it's tough to deal with. You're in a lot of pain, you suffer a lot with this condition, with this disease. So you need a lot of support around you. You need people around you to show that they love you, to show that they care, and to show that they can stand with you while you go through this.
Yeah.
So that's what our For You Chat question is about today. It's a very serious topic. And the question, Elsie, is how would you show your support for someone who is struggling with a serious disease?
Actually, I think keeping the person company is the best support we can offer them, right?
Yes, I think
we don't
so.
have to say much to them, like relax, don't worry. I think those words are not useful anymore for them because we're not the person that's suffering from the disease.
Sometimes if you say words like that, like, oh, don't worry, it's fine, that might not, as you say, it might not really help that person because they're there and they're in pain. And it might just kind of annoy them because they're like, well, it's not okay. This hurts.
I know I have to relax. I know I have to.
If I could relax, I would relax, but this hurts.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm suffering.
So we've been talking about cancer today. Cancer is very common in my family. My dad had it. He survived. My grandparents have had it. I have aunts and uncles who have had it. So I've gone through this a lot. And I think Elsie has a really good point. Just being there is the most important thing. Going to the hospital and even just sitting there, just physically being there. Even if they're just sleeping, it doesn't matter. Just having somebody there beside you is a big deal for that person. So what we did in my family is that people would go in shifts because one person can't be there the whole time. Everybody still has their lives going on. You still have your responsibilities away from the hospital. So different people would go at different times and spend time with the person in the hospital. They would go and spend time with my dad or with my grandma or my grandpa in the hospital. Like, my aunt or my uncle would go, then my dad would go, that kind of thing. So it's important to be there. It's also important to support the people around the person who is suffering too. Because they go through it too. So when my dad had cancer, my mom also needed a lot of support too from her friends and from her family because it was like she was going through it with my dad as well. And
she was also going through a hard time, actually.
She was going through a hard time, and she also had two little kids. One was me, and one was my little brother. So she had her hands really full with a lot of stuff. So she needed support. So of course you have to support the person who is suffering with the disease or the condition in the hospital, but don't forget the other people around that person because they're going through a really tough time as well. Sometimes it's almost tougher for the person who is beside the person who is suffering because they feel helpless. They can't really do anything about it.
They want to help, but actually there's nothing they can do, right?
They just so they feel kind of helpless. So it's a bad feeling because you just want to make that person better because you love them, but you can't. So it's just important to be there for the person who's suffering and for the people around them as well. So just
that's the most important thing.
Yeah, just be there for them. Just physically be there and listen more than you talk. Maybe just listen to them.
That's right.
Even if they just want to sit quietly, just be there. Okay, you guys can have a chat about this as well. That brings us to the end of today's program. Until the next edition of English for You, I'm Joe.
And I'm Elsie. Goodbye.
Goodbye.